bringing the Republican Congressman, now Burgess Owens, state of Utah, member of the House Committee on Education and Workforce. Welcome back, Congressman. You heard some of the pushback on the move to cut the department in Alina's reporting, Randy Weingarten and others. What about from your side? I mean, conservatives have been pushing for these types of cuts for years and years. So are you celebrating them today?
Oh, absolutely, and there's a reason why we've been pushing for it. Department of Education has been a total failure. I'm trying to figure out where these people were when the study came out in 2017 that 75% of black boys in the state of California could not read and write. Where were they mentioned that zero proficiency in the 23 Baltimore districts, schools right here, zero proficiency in math. So we have to make sure that we remain number one. Our kids should be our focus, not adults. I mean, I get it. People want to work. They want to have security. But at the end of the day, the Department of Education is for one reason, to make sure our kids are the smartest, most productive kids in the entire world. They have failed tremendously. And what we're going to do right now, very simply, is block grant, take as much as down, first get rid of the bloat, and take as much down to the states where parents and board members can figure out how to work for their kids in the most effective way. I'm excited about that, and that's the way it should be with innovation.
You know, like I said, the Democrats have a different point of view on many issues, but particularly on this, and it's been a back and forth, as I said at the beginning, for years and years and years. And Matt Myers is the governor of Delaware. He's a Democrat. He happens to be coming on this show later as a live guest, but he has a background in education, used to be, before he was in politics, a Teach for America guy, I believe, and he did say this about what you and I are talking about. Take a listen, and then we'll talk some more about it.
Small businesses rely on stable communities with strong schools. Education cuts ripple through Main Street, hurting local economies. I was a county executive, and as county executive, I was known for reviewing each line of our local government budget to ensure we spend tax dollars effectively and efficiently. But as my ER doctor wife now reminds me, you need a scalpel for surgery, not a chainsaw.
Not a chainsaw. All right. So the idea here is, what's the net, right? President Trump says we're just moving it back to the states, or we're going to do it a little bit differently. But in the end, are children and local schools going to lose funding and thereby services?
You know, I think, first of all, Democrats is going to take a seat, stand in the corner and watch out how innovators do this. They've proven that they cannot educate our kids. This is very obvious in the latest results that come out. So it comes down to one simple thing. Do we trust the bureaucrats in D.C. that takes 10%, that pay out basically 10% of what states get, and they have all the rules and regulations come with it? Or do we trust the American people with their own kids? We're going to block grant this back to the states. Billions of dollars back to the states, to the districts. Let them decide how to do this, because the bureaucrats here in D.C. have proven they have no clue. So we're doing basically what every private sector does. We want a return on investment. We have reduction in forces. I've dealt with that all my life in the private sector. It's the way things work when you're trying to get the best return on investment. So lay back, Democrats. You've shown you could not do this process. Let innovators do this, and we'll do it right.
Let's talk bigger picture then, because this is all part of the cuts that we've heard from Elon Musk and the president. Let me put up the Doge cuts from the tablet on the screen and just where the goals are, because if they're serious about where they want to go, which, is over here at $1 trillion, then there's a long way to go, because the actual number, is something like this. So that's part of it. You're building towards it. I assume you support it. At the same time, the president's in the middle of a trade war. So look at this. As he has, ramped things up with the trade war, look at the stock market, which is the line here that at the end is going down a little bit, and what else is going down? The president's approval. So I don't know which one you put it on more. I'd probably say more the trade stuff than the Doge cuts, but what do you think? Do you still support the president's policies across the board, even on trade, or you start to get nervous?
No question. Keep in mind, we're only, 8 weeks into this? We're being disruptive in terms of how we're making this thing work. And I'll say this, the trade process, the tariffs, is all about fairness. Reciprocal. If they treat us a certain way, we should treat them the same way. It makes sense. And I'll say this, think about all the businesses coming back. Give this time. The president is innovative. He's a business owner, along with Secretary McMahon. We have people finally in our leadership program who understand how a return on investment works. Give it time.
How much?
You kind of.
How much? Not an exact amount of time, but what's a reasonable? How much time when he says, "Well, it's going to take a while"? Is it going to be a time when we dip back into an economic recession and then come out of it stronger? I mean, how do you view it? What should people expect in their lives?
I understand that, first of all, it took 4 years to get to where we are. We're now in 8 weeks. So we're already seeing billions of dollars coming back, businesses coming back to our country. We're seeing respect around the world. We're seeing hope with the business ownership, small business owners. We are in the process of, it's a culture shock. It's a culture change, and we're getting back to it. So, I mean, nobody's going to predict how exactly when it's going to turn. We're going to have the returns we want to all see.
But if someone called your office, your constituent, said, well, how much pain, Congressman, should I expect in my, because that's essentially what the president's saying. Nobody's arguing that or saying this is going to be easy. The president himself is saying this might be painful in the short term. What does that actually mean?
Well, it means this: how much hope, how much expectations, how much can we now look at our kids being trained and taught and educated? How much can we now look at building a country that finally is about we the people? All that stuff is really where I see it. Of course, with anything that we go through that's tough, I was an athlete. I know what it was to work out hard, to go through some pain. But at the end of the day, you end up winning a Super Bowl because we got the right amount of effort and dreams and hopes into the process. That's where we are right now as a nation. So again, get ready, because we haven't seen anything like this in our lifetime. And it's so well excited about it. And I think American people are really thankful that November 5th we made the right choice to get our country back to be America first. I'm excited about that process.
All right, we always like having you on to go back and forth on all of these issues. Thank you, Congressman. Thanks for coming on today.